you to stop it from contaminating your land in Biafra. Give those who are in positions of authority in Biafra land, give them the common sense, give them the ability to safely handle this very pandemic that is ravaging the whole world. Make it, oh Heavenly Father, that we may decide in our hearts and in our minds to stay at home instead of traveling or going out needlessly. We ask you also that you provide food as you provided for your children when they left Egypt. For manna fell from heaven. So we do ask you, O Heavenly Father, we know that manna will not fall from heaven, quite literally, but we know that only you is God and you will provide for those who are starving and those who are hungry. Touch the hearts and the minds of those who can, those that claim that they are millionaires, those that claim that they are billionaires, that they may put their hands in their pocket and be able to feed the multitude. We ask upon the Elohim to always remind us all the time to do even the very mundane things like washing our hands properly. And whilst it may be heartbreaking, please comfort the families of those who are in Kanu who are dying today. Those who are suffering and dying due to the greed and stupidity of those who are in power. For we want them, for you gave me a message to give to them. And I said to them, don't allow the Chinese to come in. But they ignored it. They said he's a Biafran. How can he have the interest of everybody at heart? But you gave me a message and I gave it to them. They ignored it and today people are dying. They are dying because those who run this zoological republic, that very country that you did not create, that very creation of man, they did not listen. Oh Heavenly Father, you are our refuge and our strength. You are an ever-present help in times of trouble. There is trouble now. Please have mercy upon your children. For although we will not fear, though this very earth may give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, we remain unshakable in our faith, in our belief that you are Elohim, you are the beginning and the very end, and ultimately that your will be done upon our lives. We ask for those who are infected. We pray for those who are working with infected patients. We pray for doctors and we pray for nurses, not just in Biafra land, not just those who are battling in Kanu, but all over this very earth, that your peace and your mercy may be upon them, that in all that we do, every praise and every adoration will belong to your holy name in this very journey, until Biafra comes and beyond we pray. He said,
all right, Nnamdi Kanu, Korona Ikondo, IPOB, Korona Ikondo. Tell the world what we are going through. That's what he's talking about. This is Radio Biafra USA 2. We gathered again this morning to bring you this truth, the light that will liberate us from this enslavement. Now, today I heard that the young people are out again in the street. I saw a video actually, but they're not doing enough. Anyway, I wouldn't say they're not doing enough, they're just starting. And this morning I'm able to bring you a clip by our sister, DJ Switch of Yanuju. She's a brilliant girl and she spoke very, very eloquently about what is going on. And I want us to listen to it. But meanwhile, I am appealing to these youths, do not stop. Believe me sincerely, don't stop. I had Shegun, fella's son, addressing you guys, and what he's saying, everything I said is the truth. I wasn't able to grab that video, However, I listened to him in its entirety. I was sitting down somewhere and I was going on Facebook and I saw what he said. He's sharing my opinion, actually. Don't give up. Don't stop. This is your chance to liberate yourself. Because these politicians are not going to give you any break. If you keep quiet, they are still clamoring about the president coming to address the National Assembly. We are waiting. Everybody's waiting, anxiously waiting. So, channel the Sunrise Daily in Channels TV. They were talking to somebody who is trying to explain. They want to find out, is it going to be interactive or is it going to be just come and talk and go? Whatever one it is, we are all here waiting. We'll hear from them. Let us listen to what channel is saying about it, about the president of the zoo going there to address the National Assembly. We are still waiting because I know that something will always happen before then and they will tell you, oh, no, I think something, because they cut. This is, if it's live interaction, we shall see.
Politics is politicking. Of course, PDP is saying that the president should resign, and naturally, APC, his party will say, on what basis are you asking the president to resign? But that's, for me, that's a distraction. The issue is that the president is going to address a joint session of the National Assembly on Thursday. And of course, it was because of the motion that was passed on the floor of the House of Representatives last week, calling him to come and tell Nigerians what is going on in the country in respect of the deteriorating security situation in the land. Don't also forget that the Senate also passed a strongly worded motion asking the president to sack the service chiefs. And that was about the third time in the last 1 year that they are going to pass such a resolution. So it is normal that when things go wrong, the president of a country should be able to talk. The lawmakers are the representatives of the people. So he should be able to tell us, we the people that elected them through our representatives in the National Assembly, what the issues are, what the government is doing. Why is it that despite their best efforts, we don't seem to have a handle on the security situation in the country?
Well, a number of interesting angles, so many people will be willing to look at that. For instance, there's going to be that question of, is it going to be an interactive session or is it just going to be an address? So what are you looking forward to?
It should be both. It should be both. Of course,
so the president to engage questions from...
Exactly.
Has that ever happened to any president?
That I'm not aware of. But then there's always...
The first time.
The first time. And because it is a very grave issue we are dealing with. You don't get up in the morning and 43 of your citizens are slaughtered, literally slaughtered. And everybody thinks it is normal. In every other country, even in African countries, if you wake up in the morning and 43 people are gruesomely murdered, as those rice farmers were murdered in Zabamari in Borno State, people ought to ask questions. So I expect that the president will address them and tell them this is what we have done.
Okay.
Then people should be able to ask him questions so that the gaps, if there are any, could be filled.
Well, there are so many other issues on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning that will pique your interest, but let me pick on this one. NSAS, please fortify Lekki toll gate, youths protest in Osun, all calm in Abuja, other states. Buhari warns against violent protests. That story is on page 5.
You know, again, we seem to be getting things wrong in this country. We have so much politicized the NSAS protest, so much so that we are leaving the issue, the substance, which is police brutality.
When you say politicized, in what way?
Because the government is not addressing the core issue.
What, and what is the core issue?
The
main issues are well, the federal government will tell you that the main issues are being addressed. You are aware of all that.
No, they are not. For instance, the president has said police welfare. In practical terms, what has the government done? They said they have disbanded SARS. Let us even agree that SARS has been disbanded. What about the issue of police welfare? Look.
Which is also being addressed. You know that they set up that committee that is looking into all of that already. You know that.
There are low-hanging fruits. I think I've argued this on this platform before. See, when you are talking about the welfare of police officers, there are things the president can do immediately. 3 years ago, I think that was in 2017, there was a tripartite committee of police authorities, PENCOM, and Nigerian Police Force Pensions Limited. They met and came up with two fundamental issues, which they said the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to police welfare is what happens to the average policeman when he retires. Pension is poor, awful, and most of the crimes they commit while in service is an attempt to make sure that they save for the rainy day. So if the average policeman is sure that his retirement will be good enough for him, maybe there will be a reduction in the egregious acts that they perpetrate every day. And this tripartite committee said two things: that policemen, because of the historically low wages that they earn, the contributory pension scheme is contribution from these low wages, so that when they retire, it is still the same thing. So that committee agreed that policemen should be paid 300% of their gross annual salary, 300% on retirement as special gratuity. So the implication is that if you are a policeman and you are earning, let's say, 50,000 as your...
That's too small for me.
No, yes, as your gross pay, that when you retire, you should be paid 300% of that as special gratuity. That will address the issue so that your savings in your retirement savings account will now be left to address the issue of your monthly pension. The second issue that was addressed is that AIGs and above should retire with full benefits, just like permanent secretaries. Why? Because they said AIG is a political appointment. In most cases, people don't know that after you have been promoted as a commissioner of police, that's about the highest professional rank you can attain. Every other thing is political appointment.
So you don't think that we're doing enough in that you don't think that is being addressed at all?
They have written a letter, as I speak with you, because I am aware, is on the president's table to address these two issues. They have not been addressed. So if you're talking about police welfare, there are more fundamental issues. Now, when you confront an average policeman who retired 6-7 months ago, he will tell you his pension has not been paid.
Okay.
And that is true. Why? Because there is what we call accrued rights. Pension package is a combination of accrued rice and then the contributions. And unless and until the accrued rights are released by the government, your PFA does not pay you. Oh. The last time the government released the accrued rights was in October 2019. So every policeman who retired since November 2019 has not been paid his pension.
There's so many questions to ask about that one, because if these are issues that people are aware of, most certainly something to give attention to. Yes, so.
Well, let's take a look at Nigerian News Direct. I was almost suggesting a round table to really discuss these issues. But take a look at the front page of Nigerian News Direct. It's the big story. Reps disown call for Buhari's impeachment. The writers call for president's impeachment constitutional. It's PDP. President to address NAS. That's on page 2. I mean, we touched on that earlier on. And I recall the spokesperson for the House of Reps saying it was just a member of the opposition party calling for impeachment, not the whole National Assembly. But take a look at this one. Governor Umahi admits supporting Buhari in 2019 poll. So that means as a PDP governor, he was supporting an APC candidate. Is that a new kind of politics? Do you see any dynamism there, or this is just clearly wrong?
You have the right to support whoever catches your fancy. You may say it is anti-party. Don't forget, even in the US, there are some Republicans that supported Joe Biden and in fact voted for Joe Biden. It is not a crime, constitutionally speaking, but it's not a new thing. Everybody who is politically savvy and discerning enough knows that Umahi has been President Muhammadu Buhari's political godson. Let me put it that way. So that he even defected. All the reasons that he's giving us now about PDP not compensating the Southeast enough is not the issue. The issue is that he has been a Buhari boy.
But then even that, doesn't that also raise more fundamental issues about our politics or politicking? It's very, very easy for party members to jump ships, to speak, from one party to another within, very, very short time on whatever, reasons that they may be given at any point in time. And that has been very, very rampant in this political exercise of ours. You cited the United States of America, but rarely do you see that kind of thing happen when you just jump from one party to another. It raises questions about the principles of each political party or philosophies. When
politics is not grounded in ideology, that's what you get.
So how do we strengthen that?
I don't know. Nigerian politicians are so self-centered. It is not about us. It's about them. It's about them. And that is why a lot of people are beginning to get very, very disillusioned because it is not getting better. Let me tell you my state, Imo, for instance. APC had nobody in the House of Assembly.
Actually had two. Okay, in the elections.
Yes.
Okay.
Until Uzodinma went to the Supreme Court and became the governor. All of a sudden, almost all defected to APC. And it is wrong because there are people who vote of PDP or because you're a member of APC, you are shortchanging the people who gave that mandate. Of course, the Constitution says, particularly in the issue of members of lawmakers, that you must relinquish your mandate. But we are in a country where laws are obeyed in the breach, and And the infinity goes on and on and on.
So who should enforce that one that you just talked about now? Whose responsibility is the enforcement of that law?
Institutions.
Which of them?
Institutions should be strong enough. Now, for instance, if a member of the National Assembly defers to another political party, the leadership of the National Assembly should say, this is what the law says. And therefore, you need to go back to the people and get a fresh mandate based on your new political party. So if the people so much love you that they are ready to follow you, and we have seen it happen over and over again. After all, Obaseki defected from APC to PDP and still won election. That's a vote of confidence.
Okay.
But our institutions, we have strong men rather than strong institutions, and it will continue that way.
Well, I was hoping you'd say until, but a couple of other stories on the front page of Nigerian News Direct. Something about Nigeria's foreign trade rising by 34%.
All right.
Good news, you might say. That's from the MBS, but let's leave it there.
I don't think I need to hear all that. You see, the point is that to this point, is this a country, is this a place you want to be? I'm asking you, Biafrans. I can wake up today and become PDP, and tomorrow I become APC. But the people that gave me the mandate gave it to me because I was PDP. Then when I move over, the institution, nobody says anything. But the constitution said they can't. So it's not only the police killing people in the street that is a problem. There's too much problem that we don't really know where to start. We don't really know where to put our hands on. What we're having in the channels this morning is newspapers, editorials and front pages and back pages and what people are saying about the situation. Now, this lawmaker, this politician is telling us that the law doesn't even allow what you do. You just defect, you come in here, you grab. They're making reference to America. I don't really think that even in America this thing happens within the political circle. No. Those of us voting, can just jump around the way we want. Even if the politicians want to jump around, they don't bring it on party basis. They're doing it on individual basis. Maybe they like this person, so I like his policy. You jump off something that concerns. So they jump the bail, and eventually that's not good. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not a country that you want to be in. This is one of the reasons why. There are so many things wrong, honestly speaking. I don't even know where to start when you want to talk about the zoo. The place, it's just total disaster, honestly speaking. Because I know and other ones will happen. The president tells you he's going to National Assembly. We shall see. We have our fingers crossed. They said it's Thursday, the day after tomorrow. Or is it tomorrow? Yeah. No, the day after tomorrow, okay. So we shall see whether he'll be there. Still talking about the SARS, the young kids that are protesting, about the killings by the cops and everything. That is another news trending. I saw them, but my appeal to them is that they should not stop. They should keep doing what they are doing. These are Nigerian youths. This is not like a IPOB thing or Biafra thing, no. Meanwhile, we're still in Nigeria anyway, so our kids have the right to do what those people are doing, to join them. Don't be scared. I know most of you are afraid that something will happen. Nothing is going to happen. They have done the worst that they can do, and the world is watching them. They can threaten you. They can humiliate you. That's all they know how to do. They threaten you and eventually make you think that they're going to do anything. They can't do anything beyond what they have already done. So our sister here, DJ Switch, Mobianu Ju, I think that's her real name. She's saying something about what is going on, about the NSAS protests that they're having now. So let's listen to her briefly before I can open up the lines for you to make your calls. All right, let's hear her.
How are you? So I was going to do this live, but the network was bad, so I will post a video instead. First off, I'm doing okay, thank you. I hope you all are doing all right. All right. So I've been offline for a while. I logged on yesterday. I brought myself up to speed with regards to news, or as much of it as I could, and what's happening. From Lekki to Obibo to Zabamari. I hope I said that right. If not, I apologize. And to places we've never heard of or about. And it is gut-wrenching, to say the very least. So I want to share a few things with you guys, okay? First of all, I know the fight that we're fighting, it is not a fair fight. It is not a fair fight by a long shot. We're up against people that have all the power, that have all the money, resources, access. They control all the security arms. Corruption is the order of the day. Lies on top of lies on top of lies.
Oh, yeah.
Lie will not kill Muhammad. It is like being thrown into a gunfight with a stick. How do you win? How do you win a fight like that?
That's right.
So yes, it's very demoralizing. On the other hand is our movement. Oh boy, to see pictures of dead people on your timeline non-stop all day. Hear stories of people and survivors and victims, and one has lost his leg, the other one his arm. Oh boy, it is depressing. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, it is depressing. I get it. And so we switch off. No pun intended. We tune to something else. You know, how am I going to make my next daily bread? We join in one of these artist wars, club wars, Twitter wars. Who wore it better? But please allow me to remind you of the people who cannot switch it off, who do not have the luxury to debate with us in these Twitter wars, who can never ever again in their life think of how to make their next daily bread. Please allow me to remind you of the real heroes that died for me, that died for you. Look, there are two options as I see it. One I like to call the short-term option. The second one I call the long-term option. Mind you, both options have the same outcome. Short-term option, we go out there, screaming at the top of our voices, demanding change. We want our country back, standing on our constitutional rights. And knowing the government we have, they might just whisk all of us away. The end. The second long-term option, we do nothing. We still die. Maybe one by one, but we still die off. Either from poverty, a very poor health sector, security personnel. Take the newspaper boy that was selling his newspaper by the side of the road, and a security personnel of a speaker shot him, side of the road, trying to earn his living. Dead. For what? I saw a video of mothers that new mothers that were put outside the hospital because, to be honest, the reason is not even worth mentioning. Because of a poor health system. Guys, listen. I understand that we're angry and we express how we can. We say 600 years for you. Shango strike you. How do your children feel? You will not sleep well tonight. In fact, you will be seeing me in your dreams. Can you come? Allah that, Jesus this, Shango strike you. I understand. That's how we can express ourselves. But let me tell you something that might be hard for you to swallow. You and I are most likely to die before these people, before these leaders. Barring things like a pandemic and, earthquakes and all that can just kill anybody. Doesn't care who you are. But you and I are most likely to die before our leaders. I'll give you an example. These people, with all the money that they've stolen, have access to the best medical care that money can buy. In fact, they do their checkups. If anything even wants to, as much as develop, they stop it right there. What do you and I have? What type of health system can you and I brag about? People die in the hospitals. The boy that that got his leg cut off. It didn't have to be if proper medical procedures and attention was paid. Or maybe he just doesn't have the money. Here's another example, security. All these our leaders are well guarded by mobile policemen, even the army guard a lot of these our leaders. Before armed robbers will go and rob those people, they will come to me and your house first. Who do we have guarding us? I can go on. Use Lagos as an example. By the time you're driving in Lagos, the stress, the road network is poor, the road is bad, the stress of just navigating Lagos and dealing with people. Everybody's so on the edge. People are screaming at each other all the time. We are most likely to die of high BP before the people who, their security personnel, make way on the road for them. They are probably in the back seat reading the newspaper on the phone with their wives. They don't even know what's going on. You say peace of mind, they have peace of mind. Do not be mistaken for 1 second that you think these people don't sleep well. They do. In their well air-conditioned homes, their private jets, they do. Nothing wrong with these things if they were gotten legally. If they were well deserved. I could go on with so many examples, but I'll leave it there. So pick one, long-term or short-term, because it's the same outcome.
Yes.
Nobody should be forced to do anything. I don't believe that.
Yes.
Don't have to be forced to go out or stay indoors. Everybody's trying to stay alive. So it's very understandable. Everybody knows their own problem. But please, as I said in the beginning, these people have all the power, money, resources, access. It is only one power we have. And our power is just, our power is right. It is our voice. Our voice. And we must use it in whatever capacity that we can. We must use our voice. You see, when we don't see NSARS on the Twitter trend, take for example, NSARS, this is how I see it. It's like a key that opened a door to a big warehouse.
Yes.
Palliative gang, come through. And in that warehouse is all the problems plaguing Nigeria. At least the ones we're aware of. You see, when you take it down, when we don't talk about it, the people that I can assure you are trying to help us, they'll think nothing is really happening. Okay, maybe the government has started giving in to the demands of the people. So think about it. I know we're tired. It won't take you up to a minute. Keep it on that table no matter what. I don't care if it's on number 9 or 10, 11, 5. And some days we might miss it, but please let us try. I can assure you that there are people fighting for us. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can take my word to the bank. People are fighting for us. Let us help them. Let us be part of the solution.
Yes.
I'll probably talk again to you guys in a couple of days and see how it goes. And also, I do not have any backup accounts. I saw so many. Wow. I don't have any backup accounts. I don't have any representing accounts, any substitute account. I don't. Okay, I'll probably put them in the caption just one more time. All right. Thank you guys. Cheers.
What a brave girl. What a brave girl. Listen to her talk. I just couldn't help, listening. Because it's like she's talking to the same thing that our leader has been talking about. You fight, you die, you stay alive, you stay awake, you die. Long term, short term. That's a very good description. You go out there, you do what you have to do, you still survive. So there's no way they're going to kill everybody. But at least there are people out there in the world that are watching and seeing what is going on. They are working for you. That's what we normally say. If you're oppressed, you want to go to the toilet. In those days, we go to the toilet maybe in the bush or something, and you want somebody to escort you, you are going to be in front. The person escorting you is going to be following you behind. Because there's a point you get to, you stop and then let the person go inside and do what he has to do. So, the situation is double fold the way she said. Long term is you stay in your house, you let things go, you eventually die. Because if hunger doesn't kill you, something will always kill you. But if you go out there and fight, you might die, you might survive it. But you know what? Your death might be the liberation of the rest of the people. It's common sense. It's pure common sense. Don't give up on what you are doing, guys. These youths, you are, the future is yours. Whatever you do today, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't let anybody intimidate you. Don't stop. Same with our Biafran brothers. Let's not look at what anybody is saying. We know where we are going. We have a leader. Our leader is MAZI NNAMDI KANU, and is leading us well. He has not disappointed anybody, at least not me. I've not seen anything that he has done that I'll feel disappointed. Some people are saying, oh, Biafra will not come this year. Whoever puts time on freedom, for God's sake. Are you people talking? Do you think people think you are talking to kids, children? Moses started the Israelites. It was started from Moses. Believe me, you know how many, when they became free was, I think in 1945. After how many years? If anybody is coming to IPOB, coming to Biafran Quest, looking for freedom, and you're putting a date on it, then you're lying to yourself. From the beginning, our leader said something, and I remember it very well, that Biafra is going to be the last miracle. Yes. What does that mean? Last miracle means you can't put a date. You can sleep in the night and wake up tomorrow morning, you are in Biafra. That's the way it is. Don't fix a date on it. Well, God's time is the best. We are still moving. Don't give up. You cannot, because right now you are between the devil and the deep sea. There's no way out. You stop, they'll kill you. You continue, you probably will die and survive and still get something. So it's better to struggle, and if death is the thing that will be the ultimate, some people have already died. Those alive cannot just give up, because the memory of those that are already down there, they're going to haunt you. I'm telling you the truth. I remember a picture that was circulated a long time ago of the Biafran youth that was being murdered. When he was dying, he told people, please go get me Biafra. He was dying. He was there, taking his last breath. But Biafra was on his mind. So all these things we are doing, we're just fooling ourselves. Let's get together and get to where we are going, and stop making a jackass of ourselves. I don't really know how people feel. You know, today you tell me this man is a hero. Tomorrow you turn around and tell me something else. Come on, man. To be honest with you, we are big enough to take our own risk. I'm not saying that people should not have their opinion. I have said it before. Now me alone wakakom. Me alone wakakom means I came on my own volition, not being convinced by anybody, but being convinced by what I heard. Not that Carlos spoke to me one-on-one, but he was making a general statement, and I resonated with what he was saying. And that's why I decided to join what we're doing. It's like the NSAS protest. Same thing. There are people in NSAS that just go. There are people who are still hiding in their houses that don't want to come out. Maybe their uncle, their brother, somebody is stealing money and they are feeling very comfortable. You know, they can eat 3 times a day. You cannot, it's okay to have all these things. But you know something? It's not going to help you. That me attitude, my family, we are fine. The attitude is nothing. I raised an issue yesterday, something that I had during the IPOB meeting. Somebody said something which actually resonates with me also, because I know what the person is saying makes a lot of sense. The politicians, you know, we're talking about the oath, and the person said people that take an oath and think that they get away with it, you swear with their family name and everything. The oath might not kill you when you are alive. The oath might come in after you're gone. Because most of the politicians, go and look at their families, the people they left behind. Believe me, they are not doing better than anybody. Absolutely not. Many of them, their families are killing themselves left, right, and center. Especially those of them that have more than one wife. You come to a family and you see people of the same blood, you see the way they are fighting themselves, you are wondering, which kind of kakamba be this one? Oh, if they swore an oath, and that oath has let them, you know, finish what they are doing, enjoy themselves, they're gone. All that money that they stole, the property they have families that are killing themselves over these properties. What can be worse than that? So go out there, if you're a youth, go out there and join your fellow youths. I see mothers on today's protest that I was watching. I see parents, mothers, and things, running out with their children. That's okay, but they should let the children do it, honestly, because you have done what you have to do. It's just like me going out there to protest with the youths. It looks like we encourage them to do what they are doing, because what they are doing is right. They are going the right way. No fear, nothing will happen to any of you. You will go there, do what you have to do. There are people around that are, like our sister just said, believe me, there are people, take my word to the bank. There are people working for you, and she knows better. She's been all over the place, interviews with the world. The world is actually acclaiming her, for what she's doing. So she's a very good candidate for us to listen to. Somebody we have to listen to and take whatever he says and take it to the bank. So the youths, I'm encouraging you to stay put, do what you're doing, do it. Nothing shall. Nothing is going to happen. They are not going to kill you. Don't be afraid that you're going to die, because like our sister said, there are two options. You have the long option, the short term and the long term. The short term is that you join your people, join everybody else. You people hit the street. I mean, Igwebike, that's how we say it in the Igbo language. When you are many of you like that, they don't know what to do with you. But when you come out, they'll be picking you one by one. I always use the geography, National Geography. When you watch National Geography, you see that the lions, when they are chasing those animals that they want to catch, and there are so many of them, the one that they grab is the one that gets away from the crowd. That's the one they quickly go after. But if you stay with the crowd, nothing happens to you. So if you people go out there, do your protests peacefully the way you have been conducting yourself, don't let anybody intimidate you. They say Buhari said this, Buhari said that. But which Buhari? Let him come out and speak to the National Assembly. In which country in the world have you ever seen where people are slaughtered and the president doesn't come out and speak? They go to TV, they bring out something and tell us this is the president speaking. Yeah, right. You think, who is the kid? Interactive session that they're talking about in the Rise TV, they're asking, look at even the journalist is asking, do you mean the president you can sit down and ask him questions and he will answer? Has that happened before? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with asking him a question? I have seen this Trump that is here, that is always harassing everybody's talking. Every day they will ask him questions. You just raise your hand, he will ask you, ask. You ask what you want to ask. Even though the answer might not be very suitable, might not be what you expect, at least it gives you the chance. So what is wrong with the so-called man that they call Buhari, if he's alive, going to the National Assembly, sitting down and answering questions? Is there anything wrong with that? No, there is nothing wrong with it, except that we just want to be hypocrites, want to be politically correct. If other presidents have not been doing it, on which tenor has people been so murdered? Just telling me that Jonathan, let us assume that Jonathan was the one in office, and 300 people will die. Jonathan will not go to the National Assembly and answer questions. Come on. But you don't have any president. That's why. There is nobody to go there and answer, because they are afraid that something might happen. Let us watch what Thursday will bring. They said it's going to National Assembly. Everybody I know, including me, we are all cross our fingers to see if the man is going to go there. Somebody asked me yesterday, why are you people so concerned about his being alive? What do you mean? Lies beget lies now. When you already started lying that your president is alive when he's dead, that's the end of your state. Because the way it is going, one day they are going to come out and say, you know what? We made a mistake. This man is gone. Whatever way they're going to do it, because now they are saying resign, resign, resign. I won't be surprised one day they will announce that the president has resigned. But they cannot, because saying he has resigned means that the Osibanjo will go into office, and that's not what they want. Osibanjo, nobody knows where he is. I've not heard from him for a while. It's been so quiet, so silent. But however, I know probably he has not been killed. So if the president resigns, means Osibanjo is coming into office. And that's what they don't want. So they would rather make do with, nobody's going to resign. This is all the things that they are talking about, president resign or not resign. It's just a distraction. They're trying to distract you from the issues. All right, this is Radio Biafra, USA 2. Call us. The number is 646-920-4541, 570-352-8442, plus 19294069953. I want us to concentrate on the youths that are, anybody out there that knows more about what the youths are doing, the NSAS protests. It would be nice for us to know exactly what is happening out there, because all of us are here in diaspora, even though we've picked up a little things from Facebook here and there, but it would be nice to hear from you, especially those of you who live in Lagos and live in the areas where this protest is taking place. This is Radio Biafra USA 2. The line is open for you to make a call.
Biafra is MAZI NNAMDI KANU. One cannot be two. Stand Live Production. Show face on the microphone. Shalom Israel. Shalom Muchineke. We are getting there. It's a matter of time. Shalom. Mposom. You know me say I go say my right for you, Nigeria. Mposom. You know me say I don't know myself again. Yeah. The love I have for Biafra has taken over my heart. It's burning like fire. Biafra is my heart desire.
All right, I have a call coming in on WhatsApp. Let me take this one. Caller on WhatsApp. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're
from. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the program.
Calling from Ghana.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. I just want to talk on what you said about Buhari going to National Assembly as they said on Thursday. But I would like to let us know that even if we go there, they have already packaged everything. So everybody, we have all seen the new package, the new Buhari package. They posted the picture of recent. So that fast-paced new Buhari package, anything they will take to that National Assembly on Thursday, we don't care. All those people in National Assembly know what is going on in Nassau, but none of them can speak. Even a culture who spoke that if anybody dare him, that he will expose what is going on in Nassau. And since he made that statement, Nigerian government can never ask him, question him about that. They cannot bring him to question him about that. So anything, we don't care. Even if the so-called the Buhari is going there on Thursday or not, we don't care. He has been for long. He's not supposed to take such long before he can go to National Assembly or any place interview about what is going on in his country. So those things they will take to that place is a package. It's a new package of Buhari. Everybody, we can see the new face, the new fat face. Package one they did. So we don't care. All those things, they are cheating themselves there. Even the one from Imo State, the interview. I don't know whether it's still current state assembly. A state lawmaker, whether it's still correct one or not. All of them are the same. They're all one. So we know what we are talking about. So our leader has said it properly that if it's Buhari that is there, let him come out to answer questions from youth, not all those criminals there. So, all Biafra, shalom.
Shalom.
We are going home.
Thank you so much. All right, the points we're trying to make is let him go. That's my own point. Let him go to the National Assembly because they will always make a mistake. There is no way you can fool anybody. You can package all they want. Let him go. Something will always come out. There are people watching. The pressmen are there. The people in the National Assembly that we're talking about, most of them, they still have doubts in their mind. So let him go there and address them and come out peacefully without incident, because they will always make a mistake. Oh, if there is nothing, if nothing is planned, everything will take its place naturally. But when you are planning to do something, there's always a mistake. That's why people get caught when they go to steal, when they go to rob. A thief has been stealing and stealing and stealing, but Shikode, so one day he's going to make one single mistake, and then boom, everything will come up. So what we are saying is, he said he's going on Thursday. We are watching. I will not be surprised if he doesn't go. They can package whatever they want, package as much as they want, to be honest with you, but it does not, I don't think it's going to change anything, because a package is package. Reality is reality. This is administration on Monday designated Nigeria as a great British zoo in Africa. As a country of particular concern, CPC, for particular severe violence of religious freedom, a designation that opens it up to economic sanctions. Something Pope Francis and the Archbishop of Canterbury hasn't been able to do. Fulani Janjaweed and their supporters in Britain's Foreign and Commonwealth Office in London must know that the unending genocide against the Biafrans and the Jews and Christians of the Middle Belt has consequences, and this is only the beginning. A contraption can never, ever be a country, no matter how unreasonable an inhabitants are, even one created by a white man, as in the case with Nigeria. Nigeria is a manifest absurdity, and only a black person afflicted by the severest form of inferiority complex will dare endorse it. There is no nation called Nigeria. It is a contraption created by a white man for a radically inferior and intellectual background blacks. That is why Britain, backed Fulani Janjaweed, has been allowed to get away with the murder of non-Muslims. The Christians are being slaughtered left, right, and center. We know that. And let me be honest with you, I read something, somebody said something today about Joe Biden. I think Al Sharpton was kind of analyzing the political situation and the attributes that one of the things that Trump did about banning Muslims. I don't think he banned Muslims. He was just, I don't know where they got that information from. However, Joe Biden is saying that Joe Biden sees these things were executive orders that were made by Donald Trump without going to the National Assembly, so it can also be repealed by the incoming president, just the way it was made, without going to the National Assembly. The truth is that people don't really understand what is going on, because what we are talking about is that, in my opinion, I said this before and I'm going to say it again, Democratic Party was created at the time that the world was peaceful. There was more peace in the world. That's the idea of democracy, the Democrats. The Republicans were not loved. That's why all of us, when we came in here, when we swore to become the citizen of United States citizen, we had a choice of voting and choice of picking up a political party. Most of us dived into became Democrats. Okay, that's a good thing. It's not wrong. But the world has changed. The world is crazier than it was when the party was created. Because when people can go in and take people, human beings, and take them one by one and chop off their head, which they are admitting was only 43 in place of 100 and something that is reported by international community. Do you think we need people like Democrats under this kind of behavior? No. They are good people. Democrats, they are good. And, they know how to negotiate. They know how to sit down. But they do not pass laws to stop this nonsense. We need crazy, crazy people that will come out and say, listen, enough is enough. If you do, like most, the presidents, like the Republicans, are the ones that can go to that Nigeria, carry whoever did that and bring them to International Criminal Court. The Democrats will never do that. They won't. I'm telling you the truth. They will never do it. And all we need to do is sit down here and lament and just hope Whatever votes we are doing, we have to understand that we are not thinking about ourselves. For those of us living in the United States, I've said it before, I don't really care what anybody says about us living here. We're still here. We are thinking about those that are not here, that might want to come here. So the world is getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and we don't. The eye swap, they are there in Nigeria. They are waiting. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. It's not a joke. Boko Haram is going to be just fanfare. It's going to be. How would I describe them? I would describe them as, jamboree. Because when the eye swap will descend, they will definitely do that. There's no doubt about it. The opportunity calls, they are watching to see. This what they did now, what the Boko Haram did on the Borno, where they killed all these people. They were testing the ground. They were trying to see, the reaction, what will happen. If we do this and nothing happens, then we're going to do more, and they're definitely going to do more. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. So what we are saying is, keep our fingers crossed. Yesterday, our sister Augustina Odidika, in the interview that they had yesterday, not yesterday actually, it was the old program that they went to, that were invited to a radio station. With all they said, the Christians are still being murdered here in the zoo. It hasn't changed. They're not going to stop. The only language they understand is brute force. And I do not think that my brothers, the Democrats, will be able to handle it. No. We need the Republicans. We need people that will go there and just do what they have to do. Forget about what the world needs them at this time. I'm telling you the truth. Not what we used to have in those days. The world was peaceful at that time. Nobody wanted, nobody wanted the Republicans. They say, oh, they're always going to war, they're always fighting, they're always using brute force, they are this and that. But the world needs them at this time, my brothers. Let's stop kidding ourselves, because the world has changed. These people are crazy. If people can just murder human beings as if it's nothing. The stories that they took them one by one after. I listened to somebody whom they interviewed. They were going in and not coming out. It's like they go in there, they cut up. They were not even shooting, so there was no gunshots. They just have a sharp knife. As soon as you step in there, they lump your head off. These are humans. These are human beings that are doing this. And you think the only way to deal with these people is just by being peaceful with them? No. It's going to be worse. It's getting worse and worse and worse and keep getting worse. Let's listen to our sister. She's calls are okay. I think let me say this. I have to listen to our sister because this is what she did yesterday, and it's very interesting. And the interview that they had, for those of us who didn't listen to it yesterday, so let's listen to it today.
I received an email recently by a Dr. Augustina Madu Odidika, and she said in her email, I was born in a Catholic family in Biafra, West Africa, and have remained a Catholic all my life. In the course of the email, she wondered why Catholic radio wasn't reporting news about the genocide against Christians, particularly Biafrans or Igbos in Nigeria, who are on a daily basis being attacked by 4 major terrorist groups officially sponsored by the Fulani Muslim-led government in Nigeria. She pointed out over 7 Catholic priests have been murdered in the last 2 years. The most recent, a seminarian, beheaded recently at the same time when a chapter chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria was gruesomely murdered. Okay, so I said, you're right. I don't hear much about this. I will say, though, my colleague Joe McLean on Mondays often talks about persecution, probably more so than most hosts on Catholic radio. It's a topic that really needs a lot of attention. So I said, Dr. Augustina, and she does have a PhD, and she said, go ahead and refer to me as Augustina during the interview. I said, come on in, let's talk about this. So she joins me in studio to talk about this very, very important topic. So Dr. Augustina, thanks for coming in. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me here and having some of my friends come to support me. My name is Augustina Madu Odidika. As he has introduced me, I'm a Biafran, which is right now part of Nigeria. We are members of St. Bartholomew Catholic Church in Fort Worth, and I work for the Fort Worth Independent School District. I'm married. I have 5 children, and I was raised Catholic and have always remained Catholic. But the treatment of Christians in Nigeria has become so awful, where people are killed on a daily basis. There are beheadings every day. Every night people talk about how many people died, and constantly villages are being ransacked and sacked every night, and people are killed in the thousands every week. And there is no reporting.
Thousands every week.
Thousands every week. And there is no reporting about this in the world. You can sometimes hear it on social media, and if your family member is affected, you hear it sometimes. And sometimes if you're affected personally, of course, you mourn. But most people don't know that this happens. And this is perpetrated by the evil government that has been installed in that part of the world by the British Empire, the then British Empire, who colonized our part of the world. So Biafrans were part of Nigeria, and because we were part of Nigeria, were kind of annexed into being part of Nigeria, they collected a whole bunch of nations in that region at that time and made us part of Nigeria and called us Nigeria, which we think is kind of a derogatory kind of expression now that we are in the United States and we know that.
Let me stop for a second. I did a little bit of research before the program just so I could have some numbers, and there is a persecution monitoring group called Open Doors, and also the UK-based Humanitarian Aid Relief Trust, and they estimate that 7,000 Nigerian Christians have been killed for their faith in the past 5 years. You're saying 1,000 a week, I think you said, right? And so these numbers apparently are really, really low. So nobody's getting the numbers right.
Very low. And one of the things that happens is that the media in Nigeria have been telling this kind of lies all the time, that people are beginning to just accept. Who is going to go and find out? Who will find out how many people died in a village that was sacked? The Nigerian government doesn't even know how many people live in a particular village.
Yeah.
How do listeners get good data? I mean, Aid to the Church in Need, I know, is in Sudan. Is there some group that we can go to find out and listen more to the suffering church here?
That's the even more insane thing, is that people who come from outside of the world and go into Nigeria are not allowed because they're scared. Mm-hmm. They're threatened. Their lives are threatened. Yeah. You don't want to go where your life is threatened. Mm-hmm. Right. You might die just on your way going to the place. So it is almost impossible to get good data, clean data from Nigeria. There is no way.
Who is doing the killing, too? I mean, not just the government, but could you tell us more specifically?
This is a wonderful question. Specifically is the Fulani herdsmen and 5 other Islamic terror groups in Nigeria.
Islamic terror groups.
Islamic terror groups. And I have names like Fulani herdsmen, ISIS in West Africa, Boko Haram, Mieti Allah, who are always active in Nigeria right now, killing people, sacking villages at night. When you wake up in the morning, you see that the whole village has been killed off. And the rest who maybe made it alive will run out to the roads, and then they are discovered by people. So this is constantly happening in Nigeria.
I want to read this and then have you comment on it, because this gave me a lot of insight as to what's happening and why it's happening. It said Fulani are the world's, and tell me if this is accurate, Dr. Augustina. The Fulani are the world's largest nomadic group, and they believe they have a right to take land in Nigeria to graze their cattle. It's a concept in Islam called sacred space, and one Nigerian pastor said, according to this concept, all land has been given by Allah to the Muslims, and the Muslims have a right to claim any piece of land. And most of the areas that the Fulani are attacking are Christian communities, so it is very easy to see that it's happening in ethnic cleansing to advance the cause of jihad. So they believe they have a right to this land.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They believe that they have Osman Dan Fodio is one of the people who came there as a Muslim, Fulani Muslim, and promised a long time ago, before we were born, promised my ancestors that he's going to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you look at the map of Nigeria, you will see that the Fulani tribe and the Hausa tribe live in the northern part of Nigeria, and there is no way they can dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean without going through our land and going into the Atlantic Ocean. So what they're promising us is that they will wipe us out, take over our land, and make sure to establish their kingdom all the way to the Atlantic Ocean.
And that's what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So there's definitely a religious element to this persecution. Is there also a tribal or cultural element, or is it mostly religious?
It's mostly religion. It's mostly Islamization of the West African countries.
This is not a peaceful.
It's not a peace. They're not asking you if you can move over and let them live among you. No, they're not. They're trying to kill the people and take over their land and displace them.
Yeah, I want to draw a comparison, and I know you and I spoke about this, and a couple of Choma and Charles are here as well. I don't know if you are going to speak or not, or if you're here for support, but go ahead and let us know if you want to speak, and then Sissy, you can open up another mic. But people are familiar with the Rwandan genocide, primarily because of the work of Immaculée Iligabiza, and she wrote a book, Left to Tell, which is a harrowing description of her own experience, almost being murdered, or her whole family being wiped out. When I made that comparison to you all, one of you, I forget which one it was, said, no, this is worse. So when people think of how horrible it was in Rwanda, I think that was in the 1990s, I believe, this is worse. So that puts, but we don't right now have the Immaculée Iligabiza traveling around, and she did this after the fact. I remember she said during one of her talks that President Clinton actually apologized to her and said, you know what, I should have done more, because we really didn't do very much while it was going on. So maybe draw that comparison to that, because that's what something people are familiar with.
This is so much worse, and I know my sister wants to speak about this. This is so much worse that we need to not let what happened then happen now, because it's happening right now on a greater scale. And what we're asking is that the world shines a light, some kind of light, onto what Nigerian government, we're saying Nigerian government because these Fulani Muslims who are trying to Islamize Nigeria are now in power in Nigeria, and they've been in power in Nigeria for a long time. They just accept that it's their right to rule in Nigeria. And because then the British Empire that established Nigeria as their area, their territory, gave them the power to rule Nigeria, which is absurd. It is absurd because the southern people accepted Christianity. But because they knew that the Igbo man would not allow them to be colonized, to colonize them and take the resources of their land, they went and forged alliance with the Fulani Empire.
There is so much nefarious stuff in the history of the British Empire carving up the Middle East, and now you're telling us as well, Nigeria, I'm sure other nations in Africa.
Yes.
This tale needs to be written, and I don't know where the historians are on this, but they need to write it. How far back does this go? Was this before World War I?
This goes before World War I. Yes, sir. It does go before World War I.
Your sister, this is your sister Choma, right?
Yes,
who I ran into last weekend at a parish, fortuitously. Make sure you talk right into the microphone, Choma, and why don't you go ahead and contribute what you'd like about this. And let's go ahead. So welcome to the program. If you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Choma Imokoronkwo. I'm a registered nurse by profession. Yeah, I just got off work this morning because we needed to be here because our land is so precious to us, so we actually needed to restore our land from these marauders. So like I talked to you last time on Sunday, it's just like worse than what happened in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So now it's just so terrible that everybody is so scared back home because you're not sure of your life the next day. Like we usually say that the survivors of yesterday might be today's victim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so terrible. Like my sister was talking about the Islamization. Actually, this is a kind of, it's joined up with tribalistic tendencies because the Fulanis, not just killing the Christians, But those of them that are not the Wahhabi Muslims, because there is two factions of Muslim in Nigeria. You have the Wahhabis, you have the, I think the other one is, I'm trying to remember
the Sunnis.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember their names. So if you don't align with them, actually they have to kill you to get rid of you, get your land. And these Fulanis we are talking about, they are not original indigenes of Nigeria. Like my sister actually said, they were implanted into Nigeria to have access to our oil and other stuff. Even grab our lands, like we have a vegetative area where good we have a good plan, good forestries and other stuff. So it's just like an interesting area to be as at the time, but they don't want the indigenes to have access to their culture. They don't have the indigenes to have, just to mess everybody up. So it's so crazy.
And they were planted. They were planted by the British.
They were planted by the British.
So now, you read the Amazon Synod report. We talked about that before, and there are some elements of that are important basic principles, and that one is that the kind of the people who are there, should be the stewards of the resources. So basically, what the British are doing is this is like post-slavery colonization. Basically, we're going to get you, and we're going to play a tribe off a tribe, religion off a religion, divide, and then are they selling their goods to the British?
Yeah, let me draw that. Let me just tell you how bad it is. For 1 barrel of oil that is extracted from Biafra land right now, Britain gets 13 barrels. Okay, our land is very rich in oil and gas, and like she was trying to say, that we have other natural resources. So for every barrel of oil that Nigeria can make use of in their economy, Britain gets 13 barrels. That is just overwhelmingly unjust.
That's unbelievable.
Let me give out the phone number in case anybody listening would like to comment, or if you have a question. We're talking about the plight of Christian Nigerians in Nigeria, of course. The phone number 877-757-9424, 877-757-9424. We only have about 7 or 8 more minutes on this topic, so if you do have a question, please call in quickly. My guest is Dr. Augustina Madu Odidika and her sister Chioma, who are both in here in studio. Very important, of course, Dr. Malloy, and also Sissel and me as well. Dr. Malloy?
All right, let's get to the SARS. I was talking about the clip I was looking for. I just found it, where Feda's son is speaking about the SARS movement. I'm still encouraging these people, because these kids, if you don't succeed in what you're doing, I know the adults are joining you, but don't give it up. Our sister, DJ Switch, I already told you that you have a long-term option and a short-term. The short-term option is that you go out there and fight. You know, hopefully that you still get back home, because they're going to come to kill you. There's no doubt about it. But the long-term option is that you keep quiet. They're eventually going to kill you anyway, killing you one by one. And that one is even worse, because the world will not even know, like what they are doing, what they have done in Borno, taking people and cutting off their heads one by one. It takes them. It's unbelievable, honestly. Because if they had opened fire on these people and they died, we understand that. But we're taking them one by one and chopping off their heads. It's not just a game. It's something that is it's unacceptable. All right, I have this program. Let me just air this before my battery goes off.
What do we want? What do we want? Justice. What do we want now? What do we want? Justice. What do we want now? What do we want? Justice. What do we want now? Justice. Justice.
Africa. I know say many people never reach here because they fear. It is some people won't come do some kind craze. But we, the righteous and progressive people of this country, we are here to protect ourselves and our ideas. You know, people wait inside this government office where they are our back now. Everybody they act surprised, like say they don't know say things no good for this country. They act surprised, like say they drive past all the slum where they for Lagos to come for their work every day. When they come forget, say they never do their work complete. You don't understand? You see, they say they want reform police, make they increase police salary. If police don't like your work, make yourself come strike. We not there to help police increase salary. We there here to help the students get good education, to help our mothers get good health care, to bring services to the old and the aged of this country. Make every poor Nigerian child, even rich Nigerian child, feel achieve in potential for Nigeria. And they always ask Nigerian youth, if you be rocket scientist and you get talent for this country, can you stay here? No! Now those rocket scientists, nine they dey for road where police go dey harass, say they be SARS, they be 419, they be Yahoo boy. Create program for them. You go see say they no go dey for street, they do Yahoo. And police, make police no come tell me say he no like fraudster. If fraudster get money, na police dey protect am. All our politicians they be fraudster. Our police they protect them. So not be fraud, na police they protect for Nigeria when they attack young people. They attack you because you are expressing yourself. African youth must not express themselves. Only say you ask police, say, "Oga, what I do?" Now slap. If you ask your teacher for class, your lecturer for university, say, "I don't understand," now failure. You must be quiet. So your dreadlock is also a form of expression. You must not express yourself. Your tattoo is a form of expression. They attack it because you must not express yourself. But we don't dare here today say we are free people. This is 2020. Me I not come answer and see so because at the event say they add police reform. Which cause I know any police from today when beat Nigerian youth for street, we go beat them. We don't need government. We don't need government to help us do that one. No. We don't need government. See, not the only SARS they harass people. Government thugs, as they come here yesterday, that's why they harass every bus driver every day. Go they collect their money. Harass every market woman every day. Go they collect their money. Not the only SARS. They send SARS for us. They still send thugs to our artisans. Carpenter they pay them. Bricklayer must pay them. What did they happen? Which kind of mafia government is this one? From today, we know they agree again. No? Me I not there here to explain with police say no beat Nigerian people. We don't there here to end oppression. We are here to end oppression. Not the only SARS. All of them they use G-class bulletproof. They work out for road for country where no get good road. End oppression for Nigeria. Me I there here say they say some people won't come fight. Me say, now see my boots. When I see my, we go kill ourselves here. No story. Also me I come here today. All those who are also the dog when they see the big yes, may they come back today. May they come back. Greatest Nigerian people. All of them are waiting for house. Make una they come for Alausa. When I wait for island, make una they go take a dog until we get what we want. As if they won't kill the energy. They go negotiate with ASU. Now today they don't say ASU they strike. Say our own children don't go school. When their own children live for London, live for America, live for Canada. Now they won't pay ASU 30 billion. Abi. Now they open their school, we don't want to go yet. What did they teach us inside the school? What did they teach us? Nonsense. Nonsense. We don't take their work. Nonsense. We say when we finish, we don't do anything. We don't go anywhere. Until we change Nigeria. Now here we go. Greatest Nigerian people.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These youths, please go ahead, do what you have to do. Don't just give it up for one day, no. Stay there in the street until they give you your demands. It's not only freedom. Add that you want to see your president because you don't have one, to be honest with you. For me, that is more important than anything else you're asking for, to show the world that thing, concoction called Nigeria is a fraudulent. They are complete fraud, honestly. It's like if they can sit down and the president of the country dies and somebody else we are being fooled for since 2017. It's about time. Like somebody even said, the NSAS is like a key. It's a hole that opens a big warehouse. Yes, you have already demanded that. Keep on increasing it. one by one. And you should not be afraid. Please get on the street and do what you have to do. I'll take a very short break and I'll be back with you again. Let's stay tuned. Don't go away.
Yes, they are listening. If you doubt me, go to Germany. If you doubt me, go to Jordan. Everywhere they are listening. White people are listening in Germany. Arabs are listening in Jordan. That is how formidable and how powerful we are. To let you understand that this very gospel emanating from this very temple and citadel of truth and transparency, enlightenment and clarity is reaching the ends of this very earth. That man may learn, that they may come to the understanding that we are not prevaricating, we are not delaying, we are doing all that we can to ensure that Biafra is restored, or we all die restoring Biafra. That I can assure you, because the enemies have come. I want that very picture to be published. It is a simple compare and contrast. The Buhari that they gave you on the 12th of June 2020 and the Buhari of 12th of June 2016. A very simple comparison. Why am I bringing out this very picture and why am I dwelling on this? Because I want us to understand that when we say there is something fundamentally wrong with the senses of a black man, that the world can understand it, because they go to my page and they see what we are doing, they see what we write, they read all the things, all the comments that we make. They are now coming to the understanding, or should I say to the realization, that there is something fundamentally wrong with us. Why am I publishing this very picture? It's to draw a very simple contrast with what is happening in Lebanon, where there was an explosion. A very devastating, very horrible explosion, and may those that lost their lives do rest in the bosom of the Most High, in peace, of course. What they are doing in that very country, compared to what obtains in Africa, that will tell you all that you need to know about a black man. Because every day we have identified that the problem that we have as a race, as a people, is in our brain. Our inability to discern, inability to understand, inability to comprehend, inability to compartmentalize, inability to reason properly. That is why we dwell on this every blessed day, for you to understand that you are your own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy because you cannot reason properly. You are your own worst enemy because you cannot discern properly. You are your own worst enemy because you cannot do simple compare and contrast. When I look at this very picture, it fills me with dread. I begin to ask myself a question. Where did all this timidity and stupidity in a black man come from? And some of you may wonder why every blessed broadcast I dwell on this very problem. Because I have discovered, or should I say we have discovered, that there lies our problem. Inability to reason and to act upon that very reason. That is the narrative we are seeking to change. Because not only are we seeking for our liberation, we are seeking for the liberation of every trapped entity, every ethnicity in the damnable zoological republic. My joy today is that whereas previously we had detractors, we had people who did not quite understand where we were coming from and where we are going, I am glad to say that today almost every other oppressed ethnicity in the zoo that the British created have now come round to our position. That IPOB has been right all along. That is the truth that I'm telling you. They have come round to that. And I want people to understand this. I want people to look at these two pictures, very simple pictures. Of one they gave you 12th of June 2020 and 12th of June 2016. And I want you to ask yourself, I just ask yourself this very simple question. Who in their right mind, whose brain is intact, whoever attended kindergarten or nursery school can look at these two people and say they are the same? The reason why I'm dwelling on this is to remind us about our apathy, our inability to engage our senses at the right time, and also our failure to act on whatever thing that it is that our brain or our mind have told us. about this very picture we are looking at. We know they are not the same person. We know that Buhari is dead. Now ask yourself this question. Why are you going through all the mess you're going in the zoo? You are going through it for the simple reason that if the Janjaweed have cleverly discovered that you cannot tell between a dead Buhari and somebody wearing a mask. You cannot tell between a 78-year-old, official age of course, and somebody who is in their mid-20s. That means they can do anything they like to you and they will get away with it. That goes to show them the depth of your stupidity, the depth of your hopelessness, the depth of your uselessness, and the depth of your ignorance. That is why I'm probably, you have all seen these pictures. I want anybody in their right senses, anybody with a brain in their skull, to look at these two people and tell me that they are the same. The reason why I'm putting it that I want to remind you the reason why you don't have good roads, the reason why you don't have electricity, the reason why you don't have good hospitals, the reason why your education system is a failure, the reason why you have no jobs, the reason why they are killing you every blessed day and you can do nothing about it, it is because your brains are defective. Look at this very picture and tell me that they are the same person. The reason why the zoo is the way it is today, with the Fulani Janjaweed descending all across the Sahel into the zoo to pillage, to kill. The reason why there is genocide in southern Kaduna. The reason why people can steal trillions and get away with it. The reason why they can hire thugs at will to do their nefarious activities for them. The reason why you know that in every election there is bound to be rigging. The reason why somebody can come forth in an election and they promote him to number one. The reason why you are suffering. The reason why you are in pain. The reason why Ogun hasn't been cleaned up. The reason why that our oil is being exploited and our gas and we see nothing out of it is because of the way we reason and our failure to act on our reason. Even that little time that we are able to put one and one together to get two. Look at those pictures again and again, and tell me if they are the same person. I believe that picture, and I want this picture to be circulated far and wide everywhere. You have seen it before, you have seen it time and time again. I want you to look at these pictures and tell me they are the same person. The reason why I'm asking you to look at these pictures very well is because I want you to understand the way that a black man reasons. And I want the world to know that the white man is not a black man's problem. The exploitative tendencies of world corporations is not the reason why blacks are down. The reason why we suffer racism is not as a consequence of the innate nature of a white man. I want you to understand that things are the way they are because a black man is foolish. I want you to look at these pictures and tell me if these two people are the same. Very simple. And if they are not the same, why have you accepted the Buhari version of 12/06/2020 to be your president when the one that was elected in 2015 is the one that the picture is there, 12/06/2016? I want any day, these are the things that we've been through time and time again. And no matter how you look at it, if you look at the problem of a black man, our plight, the mess we are in, the fact that our cities are not built properly, the fact we have no sewage system, the fact that we have no running water, the fact that things are not working the way they ought to work, the fact that police and army can kill innocent people and get away with it, nobody is being tried, the fact that Boko Haram can kill at will and the government cannot do anything, but they are busy arresting and shooting protesters, the fact that all these calamities are befalling you is because your brain cells are not working. Your brains are not working. Any day your brains begin to work, any day, believe you me, you engage your brain to think critically, things can no longer be the same. What people are now doing in Lebanon, you can do. What they did with the Arab Spring, you can now do. You cannot protest en masse because you're foolish. You cannot do anything en masse. You cannot hold government to account. You know how to eulogize and praise criminals. You know how to burn little boys, little children. You burnt them, you roasted them alive because they stole bread. Some said it's a mobile phone. But people steal trillions and trillions and trillions. You hail them, you give them chieftaincy title. I want the world to know, I want Asians who are listening, whites who are listening, that the problem with a black man is a black man, no other person. Because a black man has refused to reason. A black man has remained in darkness. He wants to be in darkness. He sees the truth and he turns it upside down. He prefers gossip. He prefers side chatting. They prefer to watch garbage on television called Big Brother than to go back and to reason and think about their lives. That is how useless we are as a race. That is why we are at the bottom, the lowest of the low. Not because of any other thing that God gave to other races that he never gave to Africans. He gave us everything. But we have failed to use that one thing that God gave to us to improve our lives as our brain. Look at those pictures. Look at these two pictures and tell me even ask your 4-year to tell you how foolish Nigerians are. An average zoo animal. To tell you how foolish Nigerians are. To tell you how hopeless, how ridiculously pathetic they are. I want anybody, if your 4 or 5 or 6-year-old can talk, take these pictures and show them to a 6-year-old child anywhere in the world, including black kids. Ask your child now, as I'm on the air. Ask your baby, are these two people the same? Ask a 6-year-old child. I now want to put into context the stupidity of a black man. I want the world to understand how foolish and hopeless Nigerians are. Any idiot who comes himself or herself to Nigeria, I want the world to understand how pathetic, how subhuman they are. I want the whole world to know that what Britain created is a nightmare. I take these pictures, take it to your child, even in the zoo. Take this, ask your baby now, 6-year-old. Ask your child, are these two people the same? If a 6-year-old can tell that they are not the same, why are adults saying that they are the same? That tells you that the devil went into the soul of a Nigerian and built skyscraper in it. I want people to understand. I want people, after this program tonight, go and look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I am foolish. Believe you me, that is the point at which you will begin to change. I want the world to understand that black people are foolish, not because the world made us foolish. We are foolish because we want to be foolish. We are foolish and useless because we want to be foolish and useless. Are these two people the same? I believe it's been posted. Post this very picture. I believe it has been posted. I want the world to tell me, is this picture of Buhari in 2020 and Buhari of 2016 the same? The answer is no. When did you people begin to reverse nature? That the older you get, the younger you become. Since when? A black man will see the truth. They will see the truth. A black man with PhD, with MSc, a black man with bachelor's degree will look at the truth and turn it upside down. Now tell me if that person is not the habitation of Satan. There is a medal that they give to the Order of St. George in the UK. It's the 9th, I think it's knighthood. I will try and look for it and I will post it. Somebody should please look for it. In that very medallion, the angel of God is a white person, a white woman with a sword, standing on the neck of a black Lucifer on the ground. You know, when you look at it, you might think, oh, they are being racist. It's a racist depiction of a black man. But if you look at it dispassionately, if you take away your useless nigger sentiment and look at the issue objectively, you will know that they are right. How can somebody who is 30 years old, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, you look at this picture of Buhari in 2020, 12th of June, and you look at the same picture of the person they claim is the person, 12th of June 2016, and you're telling me that they're the same, but your 6-year-old grandchild, great-grandchild is telling you, Grandpa, they're not the same. Do you see the amount of evil that is in you as a black man? I want black people to understand this. We are suffering today because God looked at us, looked at every race in the world, found something nice in other races, came to a black man, all he saw was darkness, evil, iniquity, and gossip. If not for your predisposition to gossip, Why would a human being sit down and watch glorified pornography on TV called Big Brother to entertain you? There is election, thuggery, and rigging going on in Edo. People are dying in southern Kaduna. Fulani, Janjaweed, the terrorists are everywhere killing you on a daily basis. But you pretend, when you look at yourself, what sort of human being do you think you are? You are an impediment to progress. I want you to look at your useless lives and know that you are your own worst enemy. The greatest enemy you have in life is yourself, your stupidity and your ignorance. That is why in a zoo of 200 million people, almost 150 of them, 150 million is saying that, oh, they are the same person. They are the same. I'm asking you to take the same pictures to a 6-year-old child and hear what your child will tell you. Your child will tell you, oh, daddy or mommy, that I want you to understand the brain of an average animal in the zoo called Nigeria. Go there, ask your child, because you're foolish. You are condemned. Ask a 6-year-old. It's a simple experiment. People should take these pictures, ask the nearest 6-year-old where you are. Ask, are these people the same? And you hear what a child will tell you. Then your shame can be complete. The same thing today. You know, some people say to us, you're fighting for Biafra because of oil and because of gas. The reason why the Fulani Janjaweed chose Nigeria as their home ground is because of the hydrocarbon in my land. In the land of Biafra. That's why they are there. That is why they have come. Because they are very lazy. They don't do any work. They are nomadic in nature. They move from place to place. That is why the only thing they have produced in 38 years of research in the north is how to dry kilishi in the sun, which is to dry meat, barbecue under the sun. That's the way you do sun-dried tomatoes. They have nothing. They produce nothing. They consume everything. Now, that is why they want your land. But when you are explaining this to people, they find it difficult to comprehend. Ask yourself, why would the Janjaweed from everywhere descend upon the zoo that they want it? They could have gone to Mali, they could have gone to Niger, they could have gone to wherever, to Mauritius. But they are coming for you. And you see it every day. You see the illegal Fulani settlements in your village every blessed day. You see it. You see the killings. You know, everybody knows. Obasanjo knows. Everybody knows that the army is aiding and abetting terrorists. Everybody knows it. That when Miet Yala said they are going to establish vigilante, they know they are talking about using the army and the police to advance this Janjaweedism across the whole landmass of the zoo called Nigeria. What are you doing about it? You are busy watching Big Brother. You are busy watching things that are irrelevant. You are busy gossiping your lives away. And in the next 300 years, your stupid children and offspring, those you idiotically gave birth to, they'll be shouting rubbish. We are marginalized. We've been killed. We are this. But in your idiocy, now that you are in the prime of your foolishness, you cannot see. You are blind. That's what I hate about black people. They don't reason very well. And we are going to cure you your illness. That stupidity is what is making all of you foolish before the eyes of God in heaven and man on this earth. That is why a black man is worth nothing. No matter how mega you are as a sports superstar, no matter how good you are as a musician, no matter how brilliant you are as a surgeon, regardless of how brilliant you think you may be, as long as the group is not brilliant as you are a nobody, you are a non-entity. Understand it very well. Today, before I came on air, it's been announced to Total, the French company, because what some of you people don't understand, what some of you don't know, is that the Fulani cleverly packaged the zoo. This thing you saw them do with the Chinese is just the tip of the iceberg. What they have done is that they sold the sovereignty of the zoo in 1967. 1960, they sold all of you. You are nothing. That is why a country can wake up one morning and say, oh, from today, regardless if your visa is valid or not, you can no longer visit UAE. You can no longer visit Germany. Have you ever wondered or asked yourself why? This nonsense that you tolerate in the zoo, do you think other nations will tolerate it? Other human beings? Do you see why I say you are animals, you're not human beings? Because even dogs cannot tolerate the living conditions you are being forced to endure on a daily basis. Even animals cannot do it. Do you know what the French company said, Total? Total is saying that we are now going to put a date as to when oil will stop being explored and produced all over the world. They gave the date to be 2050. Some of you may have heard of Tesla before. Have you not heard of Tesla? Do you know Tesla? Tesla is the fastest growing company in the world. The fastest multi-billionaire is Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla. Do you know what Tesla does? Do you know what they do? They produce electric cars. Cars that don't use fuel. Are you reasoning? This is how white people reason. This is how they behave. I don't want any sentimental hogwash telling me nonsense. You're putting down, but you people are useless. I'm a black man, yes. But we are foolish. We are foolish to a fault. Foolish to a fault. That foolishness and stupidity is why we don't have electricity. It is why there is no running water. It is why you have universities all over the place. Yet in our homes, people are sleeping. I would say in our towns and villages, people are sleeping outside on the streets. People are homeless. They cannot feed themselves. But for nearly 50 years, you've been producing graduates. Do you know the meaning of it? Yet you have no running water. And you wake up in the morning and you look at your idiotic face in the mirror and you say, I am proud Nigerian. I want you to understand the depth of your stupidity and idiocy. That is why you people are so foolish that when they brought out a little boy, they had no mask. On the 12th of June, they brought out a little boy to read an address claiming it's Buhari, who is over 80 years old. All of you idiotically, as foolish as you are, you looked at this little boy and some said the president has spoken. And you want me to be in the same country with you? Is that what you think? Think about it. Oh, you people are mad. You are insane.
All right, before I go, let's say Father Olumo just said something about what is going on now, the NSAS. And I want you to listen to that before we call it a day. Don't forget, if you're in there in the zoo and you're not part of the protest, you are not doing yourself a favor. Get out there and join them. Igwebike. Don't sit down in the house and be afraid that something is going to happen to you. Nothing is going to happen to you. Go and join the protests. Join it diligently. Let's listen to what Father Lomo is saying. I mean, it's very interesting. I don't listen to it now. Somebody sent it to me and I listened to it and I think it's what it just has to do with the program that I'm taking up today. Let's listen to this.
They are doing protests now in Nigeria. Watch, many people who will not go for the protests are all those who like going for crusade. Watch. They will not go now and do protests for the good of the country. But once there is a post around for 3 days power packed crusade, destiny changing crusade, you will see them there. You are not aware. You are not balanced. They are talking about now changing the country. It doesn't enter. Let one advertisement of God and come and put a poster for crusade. Go and see the number of people who will go there. If you are here and all you do, you go for crusade, but you cannot go and participate in peaceful protest to make your country right. You are heavenly conscious and earthly useless. You should actually tell God to take you away from this world. And these people are people who are praying for long life. Why are you praying for long life when you are already living like people in heaven? Tell God to take you now. Since you don't know how to live here. Let me tell somebody, be balanced, be balanced, be balanced. There is nothing wrong in being spiritual. But like we say, being spiritual does not make you to become politically stupid or ignorant. Socially stupid or ignorant. You know, be balanced in life. Life is bigger than the circle of this church. I have no problem. And sometimes it's even your wrong understanding of what spirituality is. That was the Jesus' criticism to the Pharisees in Matthew 23. He said, you pay your tithe of mint and rue and dew, but you trample on the poor and all of that. He said, you could have done this without neglecting the order. That's why he said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God. You can't be a good Christian if all you do is pay tithe and you don't pay tax. I've always said you pay your tax and you hold your government to account for it. That's what this protest is all about. What are the demands of the protest? Very simple. Reform the police. Is it a bad thing? Is it a political party statement? Reform the police. Pay our policemen and women better. Give them incentives. Let their children have free education if the country cannot provide free education for every other person, because the job they are doing is risky. Is it a wrong request? It's not a wrong request. Make our, what do you call them? Members of the House, senators, members of the National Assembly, what do you call them? House of Rep, Abi. Let their salaries be the same with doctors, lecturers, teachers. Is it a bad request? Anybody who doesn't want to be and feel that the salary is small, the person should do what? Leave the chamber. Is that a bad request? It's not a bad. That's what we are asking for through this protest. And if they do these things, Nigeria will begin to become better. It's not by presidential decree that you are changing the name of SARS to SWAT. No, that's not what we're asking for. We want a legislation. Decentralize the police. That's what this protest is all about.
All right, with that, finally, we'll come to the end of today's program. Stay tuned, don't go away, because it's coming in. And USA 1 is coming in on air today. And I hope to be with you again tomorrow at the same time. We heard what Father Lomo said, which is exactly what I've been saying. We want you. There's something going on here. I don't know what's wrong with my system. It's cutting me off. Something is happening. I don't know what it is. However, thank God I'm done already, because it's time to go. From me to you, it's goodbye. I'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Don't stay tuned. Don't go away, because MAZI is coming in. From here, this is Radio.